If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Room 207, Congress, the room where the ground shook. Representative Jamie Raskin dropped a bombshell that silenced the entire chamber. If Donald Trump can collect $10 billion from the Department of Justice, then what do these victims get? Victims whose names were exposed, whose lives were put in danger. Pam Bondi tried to dodge. She deflected. She pushed back. But Raskin was ready. He did not hesitate. He did not step back. In room 207, there was only one person in control, and it was not the Attorney General. In 96 seconds, Raskin cornered Bondi completely. He said it clearly. "When I reclaim my time, you stop talking. No escape, no way out." Bondi walked into a situation she could not exit. Raskin had the facts. Raskin had the law. Raskin had the authority. The message was clear. Put your weapons down. You have no choice. Raskin demanded a joint task force. Department of Justice, governors, state attorneys general, all united to fight for thousands of victims who are being ignored. But the real question is, will anyone listen? Watch the full sequence to see what happened inside room 207 and who truly won this battle.
How much do you think the claims of these survivors are worth? As the good congressman from Kentucky just pointed out, there were lots of survivors who had decided, for reasons of their own, never to release their names. That determination was represented to people in Congress, and we built it into our federal law that their names could not be released, and yet you published their names, their phone numbers, their addresses, personally identifying information. If Donald Trump can get $10 billion theoretically from the Department of Justice, how much should these people get for a far worse violation of their privacy rights and a far greater danger established to them in their lives?
Do you even know who Chase Mulligan is? You're so obsessed with, you don't, do you?
I'm going to teach you the rules again. You're the Attorney General of the United States. We have rules here.
You're obsessed with him.
You're the Attorney General of the United States.
You're obsessed with Donald Trump. You have Trump derangement syndrome.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like my time restored. I'd like my time restored.
In your district. In your district, and you don't even know about it, about keeping children safe from online predators.
Time belongs to the gentleman from Maryland. The gentleman can proceed.
Yeah, and I want the whole country to look at this. Because this is the Attorney General of the United States, whose job is law enforcement. We've never had a witness who has misunderstood our rules and been unable to conform his or her conduct to our rules before. We have only 5 minutes, and so we use our time to ask you specific questions.
How long are you giving me to answer?
Excuse me, I'm not yielding to you right now. I'd like that second restored too. So, Ms. Bondi, the way it works is we ask you a question and you answer it, and if you go off on a wild goose chase, another tangent, you start reading statistics, or you start talking about stuff going on in our district, and by the way, I invite you to my district. Come to my district, but that's not what we're here to do today, okay? So, and you do that, then we're allowed to say we reclaim our time. At that point, you have to be quiet. You have no choice. You have to be quiet. So I hope you understand the rule at this point. Now, here's what I want to ask you. You're in law enforcement. We've seen all kinds of evidence of crimes. And when we go over to the Department of Justice for the 4 computers for every member of Congress, we see more evidence of crimes. Will you create a joint task force of the Department of Justice and governors and state attorney generals and district attorneys across the country to investigate the crimes that have taken place against these victims and more than 1,000 like them? The DOJ is not doing its job. Will you create a task force with state and local law enforcement to make that happen?
Gentlelady can respond if she wants to.
Thank you, Chairman. He called Chase Mulligan a wild goose chase and didn't even know who he was. He is a defendant in your own district who preyed on girls.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, you know what? If he were part of the Epstein investigation, you wouldn't do anything about it.
Online chat rooms and committed sextortion. Yet he didn't even know in your tiny little district who he was.
Mr. Chairman, she's embarrassing you.
He's about to be
This is your committee, and she is embarrassing you.
Shame on you.
Okay, Representative Jamie Raskin on another Trump scandal exposed in Congress. Jamie Raskin reveals the Board of Peace bombshell. Watch this clip.
Donald Trump's ill-defined, private, multi-billion-dollar global project called the Board of Peace. President Trump has declared himself chairman for life of this elusive entity. He's promised billions of dollars from the taxpayers to the board, although Congress has not voted a single dollar for it. And he has secured billions of dollars from mostly corrupt foreign governments, including Saudi Arabia, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, United Arab Emirates, Morocco, Bahrain, Qatar, Uzbekistan, and Kuwait. Beyond that, there's not much we know about this shadowy venture. We don't know its basic corporate structure. We don't know whether it's a registered entity anywhere in the United States or in any other country. We don't know who controls the billions of dollars in its bank accounts. We don't know what countries those bank accounts are located in. We don't know who will conduct audits and oversight of the board, if anyone. And we don't know what the president intends to do with this massive, secret, unaccountable slush fund while he's in office and after he leaves. Yet, when the Board of Peace decided it wanted to secure a trademark for its name and for its logo, a move that should have required it to identify the legal entity that actually runs it and controls its billions of dollars, you stepped in. You personally filed the trademark applications, allowing USPTO to stand in as a straw trademark holder to cover up for this slush fund that appears to put both billions of US taxpayer funds and billions in payments from foreign governments into the pocket of the chairman for life, Donald Trump, who will control it. The president set up a board that likely violates both the foreign and the domestic emoluments clauses, and now you're helping to run the operation, as far as we can tell. What's more, I'm not sure that either you or the Trump administration realize what you're confessing by filing a trademark application. You're admitting that the Board of Peace is not a legitimate governmental body, but rather a commercial enterprise set up by President Trump. Our trademark law began in 1879 when the Supreme Court struck down a trademark law that applied to any and all organizational designations. The court ruled that Congress could do so only under the Commerce Clause. So when Congress passed the Trademark Act of 1881, it was written to apply only to marks used in interstate commerce. The modern version of the Lanham Act in 1946 makes clear it only protects trademarks used in interstate commerce.
Let's be very clear about what just happened. Pam Bondi sat in that chair as the highest law officer in America, and she failed. When Raskin asked about victims whose lives were destroyed, she changed the subject. When he demanded accountability, she responded with attacks. When he cornered her with $10 billion facts, she had nothing. This is not the behavior of a lawyer. This is not the behavior of a leader. This is the behavior of someone who is using the Attorney General's chair to protect the powerful and abandon the weak. Bondi did not just fail. She showed exactly whose side she is on. And that is where the bigger question begins. Raskin also raised another issue. He pointed to Donald Trump creating a Board of Peace and placing himself as its chairman. It is being claimed that this platform collected billions of dollars in funding. But the real question is simple. Where is the accountability for that money? How was this done without congressional approval? If Donald Trump is no longer president, then who controls those funds? Other countries could say they gave that money to the President of the United States. So if he is no longer in office, who is responsible for that money? Does it belong to an institution, or does it remain under personal control? And if there is no clear answer, this is not just a political issue. This is a question of national accountability and public trust. Bondi did not answer these questions, and that silence matters. Because when the questions are this big, silence is also an answer. And this time, the answer was clear. Not you. Subscribe and comment. America deserves better.